They were screwing around with,
Weren't you under the weather last week, Sheriff?
Oh, boy. Yes.
Wow. That's a good. Need a pen?
Yeah, blue one.
This is a blue one.
This'll work.
Okay, well, we hope it works. Might want to try it. Okay.
Like new. On Tuesday. I was probably asleep. No. I don't remember. Oh, look at that. That's it, okay.
Yes.
Age. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
Myron's got about half the channel. A lot of bridges and stuff.
Resurfacing.
What's that, when you read those legal descriptions, like it'll say, north of the 5 p.m. I can get the rest of them.
Primarily.
I'll have that one. That one's gonna take a little extra time to figure out. Okay.
I've taken a legal
Yeah,
class, yeah.
west of 5 p.m.
Yeah. I think-
When they get rods and chains and stuff, all in that legal description.
I was reading one the other day and I thought, don't know what that measurement is, but I know there's a way to figure it out. However, I kept myself from giving the research. It won't last long. I Google search everything.
That's impressive.
How do I figure this out?
Just remember, Google answers are written by people who think they know.
True. I was trying to set up,
okay, folks, it's 9 o'clock.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright. You gentlemen look at the minutes?
I didn't see anything with it. Did you, Gary?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Make a motion they be approved then.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The contracts.
Move we approve Keystone and Blairstown law enforcement contracts.
Gonna need to date this one on Blairstown. They'd still figure out the 3250, is that what it is?
So far.
All right. Do you recall what the date is for Blairstown?
On July 1.
Okay.
It's for the current fiscal year.
Okay. It's not dated, is why I asked.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to throw a date on it.
Yep.
I'll second his motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How many contracts are left?
I think that's about it.
I'd have to look, I'm not sure.
You guys keep law enforcement in place even if they don't have a contract, right?
Yeah.
So legal counsel asked me to address the outside legal invoice. They highlighted their portion that they will be paying. I need to know who'll be signing off and coding the rest of the bill. I see that Iowa Code Section 331.506 was asked to be researched. Our office did not request this. Prior board action asked stated each department will be responsible for their own legal fees. The Board of Supervisors budget was set at $10,000 for outside legal counsel. There's currently $8,404 remaining. The attorney's office is only paying $418 of the $4,199.53 of the invoice. So I need clarification on who is coding the rest of this bill.
Before we go there, can we vote on this? Did we vote on that?
Yeah,
We did, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we have 8404,
remaining in the budget.
okay, and the invoices for 4199.53,
Yep.
and what amount is,
The attorney's office is only paying $418.
okay,
So I just figured you guys needed to know what you're left with.
yeah, about $3,800 is gonna be left on that.
Right, so
Invoice.
because of budgeting and stuff like that, I don't know who else needs to
Right.
code the bill, but it needs to be submitted by this Wednesday because bills need to be paid on Tuesday.
And this came from
The
Brent-
Hopkins and Hubner, so,
Brent Hinders, I believe.
yes, Brett
Yeah.
Hinders was contacted.
Which was because of, with Heartland Insurance, they
Yeah.
keep track of.
But usually
Who
it's
does
board's
what?
action to authorize other departments to contact legal
Yeah.
counsel, so I just,
Yeah.
was just researching
I'm aware of this, and I think it should come out of the supervisor's budget.
the remaining.
Correct.
Okay, did you want,
And I will make that a formal motion.
okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I get paid this week then?
It will get paid on the 26th. So if you
Yeah, I
guys
think
want me
that's
to-
when we do our claims, isn't it?
Yes,
26th.
but claims
Yeah.
always get submitted on the Wednesday before the Tuesday that they're paid.
Correct.
So that's why I just wanted clarification today. Thank you.
Yep.
Sue?
Yes, I have two resolutions here. One is for, I guess I need to do them separate, don't I? The first one is for the hiring of Sheriff's Deputy Damian Fairbanks at a rate of $26.19 for that position.
Damien's been a part-time officer for quite a few years, hasn't he, Sheriff?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
We'll move him
Doing a
into,
nice job,
yeah, moving him into a full-time position.
yes.
He will need schooling, is that correct?
Scheduled to start in April.
Okay, very good, yeah. I'd make that motion that we approve the hiring of Damien Fairbanks for that deputy position.
Second.
By resolution,
Primer, aye.
Hearsay, aye.
Seaman, aye.
And then the second one is for the open security officer position. And that one, the recommendation is for Jeff Harnish. Also been a current employee since 2005 in various roles in the county. He's currently full-time communications, and it would move him to full-time security. There'd be no change in pay.
I'll also make a motion that we approve Jeff Harnish moving into the security position.
Second.
Resolution.
Yes, it is.
Primer, aye.
Hearsay, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Thank you.
So that'll put you pretty good on deputies and security, but you'll now need someone.
We gotta have some, we've got one young lady that's going from full-time to part-time in dispatch,
Okay,
and then we'll have to roll in and replace Jeff.
sure.
Is there an effective date for Jeff?
January 2nd. Both of them are January 2nd.
Okay.
We've gotten a few applicants for the dispatch, and we're looking to do interviews maybe yet this week on that one, so.
Do I need to make those dates
I
part
am.
of my motion then?
As long as they're part of the resolution,
Okay,
you'll be
okay.
fine.
Good, thank you.
Yep. I need to sign those.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gary's,
Oh, Gary didn't,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
he was tied up.
Okay, and then my other item was the texting. We had talked about that a couple weeks ago. The direction from the board was to ask around a little bit, do an informal survey to see what people thought about it, which I did. Went to sheriff's office, went to secondary roads, went to some offices in the courthouse, and people seemed open to it for the most part. They said, you know, do I get the option to opt out if I want to? And they said, yeah, let's give it a try. So we'd just like to bring that back up to see if the board is in favor of approving, trying this countywide texting to try to improve communication in the county.
So in texting, if I may ask, our department heads have access to this then, like Myron, for example? How does that work?
Like, so basically there's one, like admin in it, so you can set up different departments. So if Myron said, you know, Sue, can you send out a text to all my secondary roads guys, I wanna meet them Friday afternoon in the office, a quick way, I can do that by department.
Sure.
Or if the sheriff's office did, or anybody wanted to do that. Otherwise, it's countywide stuff, like, reminder, deadline to sign up for flex spending is Friday.
Insurance and things
those
of that
types of
nature.
things.
Okay.
Yep,
All
yep,
right, so you would then administer this?
right,
Okay,
yep,
through HR?
right.
Okay, yep, just making sure I know where the duties are falling.
Sure, yeah.
So, okay. And just to clarify, you've also checked into this, haven't you, Tracy?
Yes, I have.
And,
I would say probably 85% of the people were for it.
okay,
So,
good.
people I talked to.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's, in this age we live in, it's just kind of surprised it took this long for us to get there.
Is there at a certain point, if you only have like a handful of people, that you would relook at it and opt out? I
Yes.
mean, to see how many people
I agree
actually
with that. I
use
agree with
it?
that.
I mean, that way it's, I mean, yes, people are really excited about it, which is great, and I think that's awesome, but I think we get a lot of spam texts too, and if people aren't, or a lot of people are opting out, and then there's only a handful of people using it, is it worth the county
Good Lord
budget?
willing, it won't be spam coming from Benton County. but
Right,
yeah.
but people, you know how
I
people
get
look
it,
at things.
I get it.
I was just
I
saying
get
for
it.
the future,
I
so.
get a lot of political texts.
But you would know how many people.
You get
are
spammed
actually
for
signing up and
everything now,
actually
so that's the
using it,
reason
right?
I was,
yep, yep,
So see, that would be up to Sue saying, hey, we only got 15 people out of
Yeah.
160.
kind of look at it a yearly basis
Sure,
type of thing to
sure.
see if it's,
But I could see the sheriff's office as well as secondary roads being big users of this, so.
Yeah.
Getting that information out. I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
With
What's that?
the annual review.
Well, she'll be doing that anyway.
She'll do that. I don't think
Yeah.
we
We
need
need
to
that
look at
automatic,
it.
we don't have to.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can give you updates
Yeah.
even more often than that,
Yeah.
if you want 3 months in, saying, hey, here's.
well, it should be probably with the budget, you're budgeting for it, so.
Exactly, it'll change, yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Huh.
It's gotta happen.
Oh, it will.
Budgets are fine.
No.
We had about 3 minutes, don't you?
Yeah, this has got to go to her to sign too.
Okay. Oh, this is,
And that's a law contract.
yeah, you've signed them.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to put a date in there like,
Yep, that's what I was just doing.
okay, 9:15. Discuss and approve early retirement policy changes.
Yes, so I was not aware that this was going back on the board agenda. And so Scott had brought up the policy a couple weeks ago, and it was last reviewed in 2012. So I think the direction was to review that and think if that needed to be changed, if the board wanted to change that. I I think we were going to maybe look and see what other counties are doing, that sort of thing, which I have not done because I did not know we had a date for this to resurface on the agenda. Were you guys aware that it was
I was gonna say,
resurfacing?
you told Haley to put it on the agenda in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
When you first come here, we said we look at it on the 19th.
Oh, okay.
I've got I've only got to the end of the month to submit my letter that I'm gonna participate or not.
Sure.
I'm looking at private sector too to try to do comparisons, so I really need an answer.
Right,
And that
yeah,
is either no changes, or we're gonna change it, or I don't care what the answer is. I just need an answer.
right. That's up to you guys, I guess. I don't have any information for you, because I wasn't aware that it was resurfacing back on this one, and, I did not take that note from that meeting,
Are there
so.
currently any, do you know, Gina, is there anyone on there, or maybe you know, if anyone's on there? Sue?
Retirement, no. I don't-
Nobody's
I
taking
know,
it currently.
I didn't
No.
think
We have
there
nobody that's
was.
taking it currently. The last one's, it's
They
been
took that other,
several years. I think
Yeah.
probably since maybe the last
Probably
time we
been 2
paid
years.
2020, maybe 2019, that we've been, the county has paid the insurance for. So it's been several years. So.
then there was another one that was offered for a short amount of time.
There was an early retirement that was offered.
Yep.
Yep.
I certainly would be an advocate of, potentially updating that if, I think it's a valid point, but I don't know if we can have a special meeting, if you want me to do a little more research on it, or what you want to do.
I guess I'm looking at, the way it's set up right now, the county picks up, back in that ordinance, $425 of the premium,
Right.
and the person picks up the balance afterwards.
Mhm.
And I was going over the last 15 years of what the single plan cost, But this year I thought the single plan seemed like it's a lot higher. Is it that high, $837?
Mhm. That sounds right.
Because back in 2020, it was only $552.
Went back to 15,
No, actually, he's got the,
okay.
he's got the same
Find it quick,
figures I did.
You said you went back 15 years there, Tracy?
Yeah.
What was it 15 years ago?
501,
501.
yeah, 2012, 501.30. 2014, it made a big jump, 624.94. 2019, it was 793.05. Okay, evidently, that's when we changed the insurance. And it was 2020, then it dropped down to 552.05.
Okay.
And I don't have anything
I'm
recent.
not seeing that number, Tracy. I still, so they'll show 2020 is 866.47.
Along the line there, we did some additional self-insured,
Yep.
so, but to try to help control those premiums.
And what I wanted to do is figure it out, the percentage. Back
Percentage.
then, yes.
Well, if you figure the percentage when it started, you paid $425 against a $501, that's about 85%.
Oh, okay.
If you stick with the percentage, it doesn't matter whether the single plan goes up or down, you're getting 85% of that cost as a
And
benefit.
that would probably be a wise way to do it, put it into a percentage rather than a dollar figure, because it would,
That's what I would think.
correct.
So, and you don't know, next year yet, I was working with Assured Partners on giving you some rate numbers to look at for next year, but obviously, probably go up a little bit next year too,
But if we go by the percentage,
depending on what you, yeah.
Us pretty good, Scott, 84.8.
Okay. I was close.
You were close.
It's not like you'd be off.
So the numbers I'm looking at, it looks like in 20, a single premium was 866.47. And then, you're right, 21, it went down to 646.
And again,
And then
yeah.
22, it went up to 763. And then this last year, 892. And then, yeah, we don't have
Now it's
any
coming
decision
down a
on
little
next year,
bit.
but, yeah, that's insurance for you.
Sure is, yeah. And we're still a big bite for self-insurance. And it still goes up. Yeah, it could be a whole lot worse, so. Well, I think the original intent was to, offer, that early retirement as a benefit with this, and we don't have very many people use it too often. Yeah, so I really don't have a problem adjusting it because everything else seems to get adjusted. Although I would like to put it to a percentage.
Yeah. And that should actually technically be a resolution
Yes,
to change that.
yes, it should.
Okay, so,
So
Because everything's been done by resolution thus far.
can we legally do that then, since it says approve early retirement policy changes?
I'm not a lawyer, but I do think that a resolution should be formally done by the county attorney's office, because you want it, Scott's here wanting answers.
he's just looking for a yes or a no, basically, and if we have a resolution, get it in place for even next week, if they can do it that
That's what I was
quickly.
gonna say, is
You know,
talk to the attorney's office, they should be able to
But-
have one by next week, and it would still meet your timeline.
but we need to give guidelines, I'll make a motion, and I'm gonna change the percentage just as coach. Sorry, bud. So, but-
Hey, it's all about choices.
Yeah,
So-
but I'd make a motion that we ask the county attorney to prepare a resolution to change our early retirement policy on insurance, that we would offer 75% of the single plan for the retiree.
Second.
Let me read that back to you.
Is it 8 something, that'd be 6 something. I can't remember those numbers. What's the current number?
837.
627.75 is what it'd be. Which is a pretty good jump. So what you come up with?
210 out of pocket.
Oh, there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what the difference is, yes.
All right, I'll second, we'll vote on it.
There you go. That's not by resolution.
No, I know it, so.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want to read that back?
That's the answer.
You guys already voted
Yeah.
on it, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
we got it.
I will contact the county attorney to make the resolution
Thank you.
and I will put this back on the agenda for next week.
Okay. Is that gonna work?
Yeah, thank you. I
get
appreciate
you.
you taking a look at it and doing an adjustment.
Yeah.
Now, going forward, everybody will know what that benefit is.
What
as
the
long as they know the cost
percentage
of
is,
a
et
single
cetera.
plan, then they can do their homework and figure out. So I appreciate that.
Keeps it simple.
Yep.
Okay, we got a few minutes, yeah.
I didn't have any reports.
Rogers, is it lit yet?
I have not heard, I have not seen an email, so I gotta assume no.
Okay.
No way is.
I can see it from my house.
Can you
I
really?
bet you
Yes,
can.
I can.
Excellent. Did I see on their timeline, they're gonna start hanging stuff after Christmas?
Yes,
Yeah, that's their intent.
Wednesday, I believe it was, 27th. Any reports? A few minutes. Nothing?
Not this, well, believe it or not, I got one Friday. It's like I got 2 this week.
We should break out a small generator tomorrow. So, like that, charger. Charger's got it. Put it in the back and all forward. There are no plug-ins on those like that. How difficult it'd be to go inside of it. I'm not into it. I'm not gonna short it out, so I'm not doing it. I want Andrew and Michael to do that. One would be much better than what we have now. It's weatherproof.
We've got some stuff on our agenda, and the next item comes at 9:30.
It's amazing how slow the clock can tick sometimes.
Like being moved over into the overall by the building.
Both clocks are moving.
Okay. 9:30. You're up.
Okay. My name's Elena Jantz. I was here last week in reference to my wolf dogs. I have an update. I no longer have Smoke, the dog that had gotten out. I'm also getting an electric fencer to go around the dog run for the remaining dogs that I do have. And I did go down to and talk to Dr. Paula Reisdorf. She is a Keystone veterinarian. And she said per her, the dogs are considered low content. They're mainly German Shepherd and Husky mix. So,
Any brought to my attention after the meeting last week, I guess there was problems down there at Belle Plaine.
Yes, sir. I did not receive any complaint. We were supposed to get, you guys were supposed to get complaints, and I was supposed to get a copy of the complaint. I never did receive any of that.
How did they get determined how these dogs that are quoted, percentage of wolf? If they're a German Shepherd Husky cross,
They're, the veterinarian calls them German Shepherd Husky Cross. I did a home DNA test on them, and on 3 of them, or 2, well, 3. The one is gone now. But on the 2 other remaining ones. And that's how I came about. One was 12.5%, and the other one is 34.8, I believe. I don't have the figures in front of me.
37.5 according to this.
37.5, thank you. And they are brother and sister.
Wow.
Wouldn't they be the same?
No, sir. No, they can throw different percentages just depending on how the genes, the DNA genes come together. Each pup is different. I have been an owner since 1996 of wolf dogs. I don't know if that does make any difference. This is my first complaint that I have had. I'm trying to be a responsible owner. I told you last week that I have a 6-foot fence. I have chain link on the ground so they cannot dig out. I also have hog panel on the side of the chain link fence so they cannot go through it. The one gate that I do have is padlocked so that nobody can tamper with it. That's what happened the last time. That's how the one that I gave away got out. And she is with a rescue in Urbandale, so she's nowhere near Benton County anymore.
We face a difficult problem here, because if we approve her request and something happens, this opens Benton County up for one heck of a lawsuit. And I realize the dog that's gone is the culprit that took and killed several sheep.
They
And
haven't killed the sheep that I know of.
okay, well, it was reported to me differently, but they had to put the sheep down, I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't know. I never
Yeah,
saw the
that's fine.
complaint or anything.
It was just reported to me that way. And quite honestly, we're lucky it was sheep rather than children. So, I'm not in favor of approving the request.
There have been multiple children, multiple people that have been around my dogs. They are not considered hybrids. Hybrids are considered generation 1, which is 100% wolf and dog or wolf dog bred. My dogs are not hybrid, wolf hybrids, as you guys document in your ordinance.
I'm kind of on the same table as Rick here. Is there a way that they could get the dogs blood tested?
And I would assume she could take them to the vet in Keystone and have that done.
You know what I mean?
If that's your vet.
But what percentages are you gonna allow and what
Well, that's just
percentage
the
you're not gonna
well,
allow?
I'm just thinking, do they have wolf in them? I don't know.
Well, it shows
I know
two of them
that.
have gray wolf percentages.
That's through an Amazon DNA testing also.
Mhm.
There's a
I'm not-
reason why we have the ordinance, understand, and that's what
I do
I'm
understand.
like Rick, that the problem is, we know about it, we know you have them now. So if something
But
would
under
happen,
Under the state of Iowa, 50% or less is considered okay in the state of Iowa, and mine, I mean, the one is only 12.5%. I'm sure if you DNA a German Shepherd, you're gonna end up getting some wolf along the line, whether it's a little percent or not. Dogs came from wolves.
That's what I was confused about. I know dogs came from wolves. And how do you get down to like 2% wolf, 10% wolf? I don't understand that. I'm not a,
Well, in her own DNA testing, she has one at 12.5 and one at 37.5, and she said they're out of the same litter. So it all depends on how those chromosomes and genes line up.
Yes, sir.
And so it's like saying, well, this dog's could be a friendly dog, this one could be vicious. You know, and at what point are you gonna draw a line? At 25%? 49%? You know, I
The state of Iowa draws it at 49%. My dogs have been socialized. I will put anybody in with them. I guarantee on my life they will not bite a person. They've had children around them. My kids have grown up with them. I guess I tried to compromise with you guys and I got rid of my problem dog and stuff. I would just like to have a chance to be able to keep the rest of them if at all possible. If it becomes a problem again, I totally understand, but this is a first offense since 1996. And I don't know when your ordinance came into view. I don't know off the top of my head when that was in, but
unfortunately, you know, a lot of homeowners, including myself, when we got a dog, I didn't research ordinances to see whether a Yorkie is permissible or not, you know.
right. And I just went off of what was state of Iowa. I didn't, that's my ignorance, and I'm sorry about that. I did not search Benton County. I just assumed that Iowa was okay. I'm not trying to break the law or be deviant or anything like that.
We can make the law more restrictive, not less. I guess if she could get her dogs tested and we could get copies of what the percentage of the wolf is in each dog. But here again, I'm on the same playing field you guys are. I don't know what that's gonna do for us, other than prove that we've got a,
I think we're just pushing it down the road and-
Yeah.
and creating an expense for her.
I agree with that.
You know,
I don't
we
see
have
what
an
that's gonna
ordinance
do
in
for
place,
us.
and we're either gonna stand by it or change it. And I'm standing by it. But I'm one of three.
so, I don't understand exactly. Let's say we've got a poodle that's got 2% wolf in it. I don't know if that'll happen or not, I have no idea.
If the poodle is vicious, it does say vicious animals, okay? If the poodle is vicious, that's one thing. Poodles probably are not typically extremely vicious. I don't know, I've never had one.
Any animal is capable of attacking and biting
Right.
and everything. Any animal, dog,
And-
cat.
It's just the size of these makes it,
I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at a poodle, they can be vicious as well. Yorkie can be vicious as well.
my
Should-
understanding of the situation is this has happened. And it could be the same dog, because I don't know. I've never seen any of these dogs myself. It could have been the one dog that was getting loose. This has happened twice. I don't believe the neighbors have ever made a law enforcement referral to this because they just want to get along. I think that's-
To my knowledge, I've only had the sheep incident that they have injured any animals or anything.
And then chickens.
Is that the same one that had the cats or?
I believe so. I was never told personally of cats. I just heard of
I
chickens.
don't know, last week you told me there were chickens, there was cats, and there were sheep. I have no idea, I have not seen a report, so I don't know. This is the only incident I know of that they have, that smoke, the one that I had gotten rid of, had actually caused any harm to any animals that I know of in my knowledge.
I've been bitten twice in my life, both by poodles.
Not to be whatever, but in the research that I've done, they said Shih Tzus are the ones that are closest to, that carry the wolf genes, and that's a little 15-pound dog.
Are these dogs chipped for ID?
Yes, sir. They are chipped, they are completely vaccinated. Like I said, Dr. Paula Riesdorf, if I'm pronouncing that right, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's my veterinarian, all my vet records are through them.
Point of order. Was there eyewitnesses or anything to any of this stuff? Was there pictures of anything, of all of this? I mean, we're sitting here discussing it, but is there pictures of any of it that people saw this dog do all this stuff?
I
Or-
talked to a person that had an affiliation with the sheep. I don't know if this individual owned them or was part of a group or whatever, but they were quite upset. And they're the ones that told me that I think they had to put the sheep down. So
Okay.
I clarified killing the sheep by the dog, but.
No, I
you know,
just,
so-
I didn't
yeah.
know anything
So,
about that.
you know, we need to get moved off dead center,
But that wasn't my question. My
correct?
question, was there any proof that they saw this dog do this?
You
That's
know,
the
Doug,
question.
I wasn't there, and
But did they tell you they saw it? See, that's what I'm trying to get to. Do you
Yeah.
have exact proof, pictures, whatever, that that dog was doing this?
as some way that they were involved with this as they were show sheep, and there was something there with the affiliation with those sheep. You know, I didn't ask for the individual to prove it. So, you know, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, I'm just thinking if there was proof they had it, they filmed it, they
Yeah.
saw it, they had a picture. I'm not talking about the aftermath.
Right,
I'm
right.
talking about the particular dog that you guys are all talking about, that she's gotten rid
Yeah.
of.
Well, we're talking about a total
If
of,
you don't have it, I mean,
There's-
it's just a yes or no question. You don't have
No.
proof.
No,
Okay,
I don't
that's all
have, I don't
have.
have picture proof. I have a sheriff's order in front of me. There's 6 animals listed on that order.
Okay.
She's asking for us to approve her appeal, if you will. Okay,
And I don't even have DNA on 3 of them.
right.
I don't even
Yep.
know if they have wolf in them.
So, what do you do, guys? If I have to make a motion, I'll make a motion to deny it.
To me, you only got 2 options. Either one, you obey what the ordinance we got, or the second thing, you'll have to go to the work and change the ordinance by a percentage.
That's on this.
Yes.
And what are you gonna do about a pit bull? Because this is part of the same ordinance.
That's true.
But you can't compare apples and oranges. I'm
I'm
not fighting for pit bulls, I'm fighting for wolf dogs,
But-
not even hybrids, what you have listed.
We had a few months ago, someone in here fighting for a pit bull.
I understand that,
Yeah.
and that's
Mhm.
their choice, but
Right.
I'm not
Yep.
fighting for that.
So, and that's my motion. If it dies for lack of a second, so be it.
Still not solid.
What's that?
I just don't know how to handle this one. Not happy with it. You wanna second it? No?
Because she got rid of the dog that was the problem. And I don't know all the circumstances of what's going on, but I do know that you can't group all these dogs together and say they're all vicious and they're all, I don't see that.
These are not vicious animals. If you guys would stop by my place, you can pet them, you can feed them, they will not growl, they will lick you to death. They are not considered vicious, dangerous animals. The gate just happened to, I didn't have a padlock on it before. The latch had gotten moved. I'm trying my best to make it secure and putting an electric fence in. I've got a padlock on the gate. Like I said, as far as I know, this is my first time offense in years that I've owned these dogs. If it happens again, I totally understand. I won't even appeal, it's not even that, but this is just first time.
Our problem is, we have the ordinance in front of us.
I understand that.
That's the problem. I'm
just
a dog
asking
lover, so
for grace.
I know where you're coming from, but I look at it, now being a supervisor sitting here in this chair with this responsibility on my hands, I know you got it. If they do it again, I'm like Rick over here. That person, whatever happened, whether it's dog, sheep, a canary, or a human, we know about it. We can get, the county can be sued because we let you have them. That's the problem I'm having right now. We know you have them.
So what percentage do you allow?
0 according to our ordinance.
So then anybody that DNA tests a dog has to get rid of their dog?
If it's classified according to our ordinance under a wolf dog,
It says
Hybrid.
wolf dog hybrid. I don't even own hybrids. According to your
get
definition,
a-
I don't even own a hybrid.
Should we get a clarification from the state vet on the difference of what classifies it as a hybrid? If our ordinance specifically talks of wolf-dog hybrid. And use that as our standard.
And so the ordinance that we have which refers to dangerous or vicious animals. We're going to,
That throws a wrench in it.
it's the liability that just
Yes.
scares the bejesus out of me. Yeah.
When you look at it in that light, because it doesn't, our ordinance doesn't talk about a percentage, it does call it a hybrid. But we still know they're there. I would have to err on the side of caution and ask for the dogs to be removed.
I have a motion on the floor.
I know, don't sound like Gary wants to second it. I really don't either, but I'm worried about the county liability. That's what I'm worried about. Whether we go all the work to change the ordinance by a percentage.
Is there anything that I can give or anything to help you guys do that?
This ordinance was made back in the 90s, if I remember right.
You have the ordinance in front of you, doesn't have a signed
It
date.
should have a date on it.
The end would have a date.
I can't remember
When it
what
was
the
signed.
date was.
You don't have a
It's on the second page.
because usually at the end of it, it says, like when it was put in the newspapers and stuff like that. But I don't know what you have in front of you.
Well, I think this is just a copy of the complaint.
Oh, so you just have what I have. You don't, I thought you said you had the ordinance in front of you.
No, I don't.
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
this
I
is
have. I
the,
was-
I think they're citing the ordinance, but it is not, and it has the sections of the ordinance, but.
You made a comment that the ordinance was in front of you, so that's why I thought you had physically had the ordinance in front of you. Sorry. The 90s sounds right.
I'm pulling this off. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. For some reason, the paperwork that I was given with the complaint to remove the dog, or the order to remove the dog, was a copy of the ordinance. And I can't tell you when exactly, but it was dated like 2000 was the date.
So in the 90s,
Yeah, I
could
don't
you
see this.
even get a test to tell how much wolf was in it?
Probably not. I think that's fairly new. I mean, you think about it, just the ancestry and all that DNA testing, it's come out in the last 5 years. I mean, you're talking about different DNA for brother and sister of dogs. The same thing can be said with different DNA of twins or brothers and sisters and all that. It's just a different, your DNA chromosomes are all different. I'm trying to pull up the, on my phone.
So
I like dogs. I've almost always had a dog. They're very good company. But, and I heard this years ago, a guy was saying, if you want a good dog, you'll only have one. The nature of the beast, if there's more than one, I've been around groups that was more than one, and I was nervous. There was a fence between us, not a big fence. I did talk to the owner about that. They were basically house dogs, but when they were out in the field, it was very uncomfortable. They were Chesapeakes. Not necessarily a violent dog, but it's the nature of the beast. When they're together, they're a pack.
My dogs do not run free. They are kenneled, even though I live in the county, in the country, own 70 acres. My dogs are in a large kenneled-in area. They are never allowed to run free. if they are taken out of their kennel, they are put on collar and leash.
It was made in 2000, March 21st.
March 21st of 2000.
That's when it was,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
And even if there is a possibility of being grandfathered in, once I know this ordinance and stuff, I will not purchase any more wolf dogs or whatever. I don't want to get rid of the ones that I have raised. I don't see them as a threat. I'm very sorry that the one did get out and it did cause damage, but any dog can do that. A Chesapeake can do that, a Lab can do that, a German Shepherd can do that. Just because mine happened to have DNA that I got off of the Amazon, mine are targets.
What's your feelings, Gary?
I can understand what you said about multiple dogs. I guess I'd like to see her get the tests. I didn't know that they were just recently. This law was put into effect before those tests were available. I don't understand how we can go forward with these old, with the old laws when the new, if we make a new law now, what difference would there be? I think there would be some difference. Because I think there's a bunch of dogs in the country that are part wolf. If we go to 0 wolf and a dog is vicious, then what? That's,
What all does it list on the vicious animal ordinance?
Hold on.
Lists all sorts of stuff.
You want a laptop?
No, it lists, so the breeds, it's specific: lion, tigers, jaguars, leopards, cougars, lynx, and bobcats. Wolves, wolf dog hybrids, coyotes, coyote dog hybrids, foxes, jackals, badgers, wolverines, weasels, skunks, and minks, raccoons, bears, monkeys, chimpanzees, bats, alligators, crocodiles, scorpions, snakes that are venomous or constrictors, Gila monsters, any dog that has appearances and characteristics of being the breed of Staffordshire Terrier, American Pit Bull Terrier, American Staffordshire Terrier, and another breed known as pit bulls, pit bull dogs, or pit bull terriers, or a combination of any of these breeds.
Is there a license that I can get through like the DNR or somehow get approval, or I don't know, that would take the blame or the liability off of you guys?
I would think there is. I used to be a game breeder for pheasants and quail. And like the ordinance that we got now, I'm thinking back years ago, 20 years ago, I know people in Benton County that did raise fox.
I knew a guy that had a wolf, and that wolf was, I was a teenager at that time, and that wolf was as friendly as it could be when the owner was there.
Well, seems to me like there might be a piece in there about
And so,
allowing.
you know, what you're gonna do here is you're gonna open up this ordinance,
Certain guidelines.
you know? And I'm not saying that opening it up is a bad thing, but what are you gonna do in the meantime? In the meantime, you're gonna open the door for liability.
See, that's where I'm coming from. I'm worried for the county because we know you have it.
Now, she can
You know
rehome
that-
these critters until something is changed. We didn't say she has to
But
put them down.
only 2 of them that you know of have the DNA from Amazon that says they're wolf. Or have gray wolf in them.
But there are 6 of them on this complaint.
That's fine, but you have no gray wolf percentages on the other ones. I don't even know if they are. According to my vet, they're German Shepherd Husky mix.
Yeah. Well, and again, it falls under the heading of vicious animals.
But they
And
aren't.
I,
Those aren't vicious. The one was, yes, she did the sheep. I got rid of her.
This is a little bit off the subject, but of those animals that you listed, there were skunks, and can you shoot them any time of the year?
That would be a DNR question. I do not know that. I think if they're, like, I have chickens, and if a raccoon is endangering my chickens, I can shoot the raccoon, but I don't think you can do it just for game.
There is a variance under 37.19.
I don't have that on this complaint.
Yeah,
What's it
she's
read?
looking at the actual ordinance.
Yeah,
so.
I get that.
What?
Basically what you're doing, you're coming to the Board of Supervisors for appeal. What you're asking them is for a variance of the ordinance. So, you know, Rick has a motion on the floor that he is not willing to grant your appeal to allow for the variance is basically what it comes down to. I mean, I feel like you guys are, not to interject, going back and forth on the vicious animal and the animal type. You kind of are looking at 2 different things in a sense, because the vicious animal that was reported on was taken out of context. And I think that's where you guys go back and forth on with the ordinance and the liability and that sort. So I don't know if you kind of need to separate the 2 different things, or maybe table it to think about it more. I'm not trying to interject and run things, but I just feel you keep on going in circles, so at some point we need to separate what's what, and maybe you do. I think there's probably lots of ordinance that you guys probably need to look at and revamp. This is maybe one that needs to take priority, I don't know, but, I mean,
Yeah. You know where I stand. If you guys are hesitant, you know, you table it, you get some legal advice. We don't have legal counsel here.
I mean, you can sit and think about it for,
Yeah, it's been 35 minutes so far.
yeah, like I said, I'm just
I'm
trying
sorry.
to, no, I think any of these take a long
Doesn't
time,
matter
because
if it's an hour
there's,
and 35, but,
I think there's
Yeah.
emotions that go along with those, and that's where the problem lies.
right. Yep.
There is, if the board decided that we're going to uphold the order to remove the animals, any person aggrieved by the decision of the Board of Supervisors shall be entitled to seek further appeal by filing an action to the Iowa District Court within 7 days of your decision. No person shall be entitled to appeal to the district court without exhausting their remedies under this ordinance.
That's our ordinance now?
That's our
That's
ordinance.
Of
the
the
one
county.
that's the current one, that, I pulled it up on the website.
Can I ask kind of an ignorant question? How long does it take to do an ordinance?
There is 3 readings of the ordinance, so first you have to publish the ordinance and notify the public of it, and then there's 3 different readings to open to the public to whether they want to object to it or not. So it is a very long process.
Lengthy
Usually the
process.
readings are, and I think you guys can waive one of the readings if I remember correctly, but usually you're looking at a minimum of a month process once the ordinance is put in, like, wording into place. So it is a timely
Okay.
thing.
I
Yep.
don't know the procedure.
Nope, so, you guys just did one last year, I believe.
what's on the plate is right now is 6 dogs. You know how Rick feels, you kinda know how I feel, I know, is there any place that would take the dogs for you, you think?
I could try to foster them out, yes.
How about you foster them till we can seek legal counsel and get it back on the agenda?
Makes sense to me.
Does that make sense? I mean, that should limit our liability if she gets them, like you took the other dog to Ankeny, for example.
Yeah, she
Correct.
went to Urbandale.
Urban, okay.
Yeah, and
Urbandale.
she's
Yeah.
gone. She's not coming back. It wasn't a foster, it was rehoming.
But I really think that we need to visit with our county attorneys.
At least.
So we
have
need
kind
to
of a-
probably put that in a formal
Another
motion.
engineering question, does
to-
that mean I have
So
to
she
get
I
an
can do that.
attorney also
No,
then?
no,
No,
no.
okay.
What was that question?
She wants to know if she needs to get an attorney.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's her right.
Yeah, that's your right, but I mean.
No, but I mean, just to come in here to,
No, not come in. So, I guess my motion's gonna die on the floor here, so I would put what I just said into a formal motion, that she fosters these dogs out until we can get legal counsel on the subject, and then we put it back on the agenda. But the fostering should be immediate.
it's gonna take me a
I
little
will
bit.
ASAP, I mean, as soon as
Like
possible.
within the 7 days or,
Yeah,
It could take a while.
yeah.
It could take a while.
So then we get some legal counsel from our county attorneys and then get it back on the docket.
You wouldn't have to come back up here again.
well, can I be notified when it does come back on the
We
agenda?
can notify you that way.
Yeah.
We could, yeah.
It would behoove
We
you
got-
to be here.
But I
Okay.
guess
I would
if-
like
if
to
we
be
go to
here.
all the work to change the percentage.
No, I didn't put that in my
I know you
motion.
didn't put it in there. but I-
Because that's opening up the ordinance.
Yeah,
And I'm just tabling it till we can get some legal advice, going forward. And I think what they're gonna tell us is what I've already stated.
what we got, yeah, we got.
So, but that's fine, okay? That's my motion. Do I get a second?
I'll second it.
You call for a vote?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
so,
Get them fostered.
Yes,
We'll get it back on the agenda.
I appreciate it. Do you need a phone number to?
I have it here in
Okay.
the letter, so, but yeah, we will notify you, let you know when it's back on the agenda, so.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
You got her phone number that you said?
Yeah, it's in that letter that they sent you, I have a copy of that.
Okay.
It's on the bottom of that.
Well, I got the sheriff's office phone number.
The one that, the letter she wrote you guys.
Oh, on her letter, I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Myron. Morning. Morning.
No, that's.
Well, it's okay. We needed a chuckle.
Question that was presented here recently, or asked, secondary roads, so with it being a little bit, much drier year, getting a lot more work done, some of the recyclable, the damaged culverts that we take to the scrapyard Some of the other scrap stuff is gonna be a little bit larger this year than it has in the past. Secondary roads employees asked whether instead of purchasing a high-vis bomber jacket for winter activities, could be a county expense picked up by the county utilizing some of that funds. Now, secondary roads uses vests for the high-vis activity. OSHA recently, earlier this year, came out and said your PPE should fit you in the sense that you shouldn't be wearing a big 4X jacket if you're a large, medium type fit, you know, aspect, extreme differences. And I guess thought about that here the last couple of days and thought about adding a Benton County Secondary Roads insignia on the jacket, but I wanted to find out if, I guess, somewhat similar to how collections has been able to utilize the funds that they acquired through that activity to help pay for the activities in that office, would clothing, specifically a winter high-vis yellow jacket, be something that you would be acceptable as purchasing from a vendor at the county's expense for secondary roads employees?
I don't have a problem.
Is it in your budget?
Yeah, I mean, you say most of it's coming out of.
From the scrap.
More from the scrap than what we've typically seen.
No, are you gonna have the scrap company come up with a dumpster,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll just smash them and load it, and
Yeah,
then haul it
we've already got
away?
them smashed, but,
'Cause majority of them that I've dealt with here in the last 2 years from the derecho, they get 50%, don't they? For trucking?
I'd have to ask how we've arranged the one that we've been using, but I
Okay.
know he brings a dumpster up, and I know there's some, you know, cost sharing and cost involved to bringing their collection materials. You say, we've used our equipment to do all of the smashing, and separating different materials. So you say we've gotten rid of a number of batteries here recently, and you say doing a lot of cleanup out there at the yard right now before Mother Nature covers it with snow.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it, I'm
Me
for
either.
it.
Yeah.
So when you're, for on the budget side of things, I know you asked about if it was in the budget, and you said to set it up like collections. Collections has their own fund. That's not what you're thinking. You're thinking of just making a
I'm just
specific
comparing
line
a
item?
little bit that, my recollection is with a lot of the revenue that collections was bringing in was helping to offset administrative costs in that office. And in the sense that the work that went into doing the collections helped offset the cost of employee or administrative costs. The cost of, you know, smashing the culvert, separating different metals from other things on our part, you know, is helping to, you know, increase the revenue from the recycling standpoint and utilizing it,
I'm just thinking
incentivizing somewhat the employees.
traceability.
Those,
So-
those funds will go into the general fund, and then it'll just, or whatever.
It goes
then
into
just
secondary
comes out
road
of
fund
his-
and then it will
Yeah.
go back out.
I guess my
It-
question was, do you want us to create a specific line item for the revenue, for you to put that in there, so that revenue line item would be specific to those culverts and that scrap, and then you would have a specific line item that you would be paying for these coats out of, so you can see the ins and out of that scrap and how much is left and remaining and revolving that way. That was my question regarding budget-wise.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I wouldn't do it, because I'm afraid,
The reason I was asking is because you mentioned the collections.
I know,
So
yeah,
that's
okay,
where,
yeah.
to make it clear going forward,
Mhm.
I bring that up for
Yeah.
budgeting purposes.
It isn't gonna matter if it pays for half of the jackets, or if it pays for 10% of the jackets, it doesn't matter.
'Cause-
It's also a safety issue.
yeah, scrap Friday was $180 a ton. So it'll take, how many tons? 40 ton to cover everybody in the county, secondary roads, for the new jacket. So I don't think you'd have enough off your scrap to buy the jackets outright. That's why I would not go to all that extra work. My opinion. I don't know how many tons you got.
You may have to have a line item to buy them, but, you know, just whatever. Because it doesn't fall under oil filters.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't see any issue with it.
I don't either.
Okay. BC and D, I got a little aggressive, those don't need to be on the agenda yet until probably next month. I've met with a consultant Friday, and we were going over some of the details of the plan set, and I was telling him that the Benton County Board of Supervisors meet on Tuesdays, so he said, I'll make sure I get everything to you. We need to have check plans in the first of the year, but the actual final plans that need your approval and signature will be coming later in January. The last item I had on there, bridge replacement project that we're designing on 17th Avenue in Big Grove Township. Richard and Diane Pickert own property on one side that they had been presented a purchase agreement for purchasing that. 2,200ths of an acre is what we needed for permanent easement, 1,300ths of an acre for temporary easement. Permanent easement, $2,202.75. Temporary easement, $260.33. Grand total of $2,463.08 is what we came up for the value of the ground that we needed permanently and temporarily for the project. Richard and Diane have agreed to that. Got the purchase agreement signed. I just need the chairman to sign that and then have that notarized also.
Make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Myron, I see out on 218 where the overpass is on Highway 30, they got a sign up stating pavement ends.
I noticed that Friday on my way home also.
That's good.
And 21st Avenue opened south of Van Horn a week and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I've been that way for a couple weeks.
Box culvert that is built on Cedar Valley Nature Trail on 52nd Street is completed. They're finishing up the dirt work. I would imagine they've started spreading rock across the surface of it, that for the weeks out, they'll have that back open to the traffic, both recreational traffic through the culvert, but then our 52nd Street will be opened up again then too.
Did the posts come in for the signs?
I think they're coming in tomorrow with, I think the guy's coming tomorrow, is what I think was told, so.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have for you.
Thank you.
We've got
Somebody here to talk about roads.
Okay.
My name's Sherwin Cook, live outside of Keystone. I have 8 or 9 pictures here.
Start off with
Mr. Beershank's been out. What we're having problems with on our gravel roads, the maintainer continues to go too deep. Now we have no rock left on the road, and it's just dirt. Water isn't draining. What we're having problems with now is just purely lime dust. So now we have to take our vehicles to a dealership to have the tires taken off and power washed, otherwise they get out of balance. Our fuel tank filters are being plugged with lime, dust, sludge. There's no loose rock on the roads. You spend $1,900 for dust control and it doesn't last because we have these scarf marks. And so then your dust control breaks up. And the water, like this summer, as dry as we were, you get a 1/4 inch of rain and then there's so much rock on the shoulders that the water can't drain. And my wife's car continues, the engine light comes on because it's continually plugged, the vents are plugged. Neighbor had his fuel tank sucked in because his is plugged all the time. We need some help out there. What happens too, then, if you're on a bus route, if you get any type of rain or you get a freeze and a thaw, then the buses have to drive hard surface road. And what are parents supposed to do who have work but have young kids, and how are they supposed to get the kids to hard surface road? So we either need more rock, or some intensive training for the guys running the maintainers, or we need somebody who's in charge of this, bring their own personal vehicle and drive on one of these roads after a 1/2 inch of rain and then spend 2 hours cleaning them, or take on the expense of getting their rims cleaned or their fuel tank filters replaced. It's
Well, we've got the department head here right now, better pass those over to him. Did you catch that location, Myron?
I do not.
1239 68th Street, Keystone. I can write it on there if you want. You can't keep going deeper every time you grade the road. You can't keep going deeper. At some point, you're gonna get past the base and now in front of my house. There's, and Mr. Burshake was it, there's no rock left. It's dirt. And I think you can tell the blacktop road from Keystone to Elba, north side of that is way worse than the south side of it, way worse. I don't know why, I don't know. It is a problem. So, we just need some guidance and help. I mean, I don't know what the legality is. I'm ready to take my tractor and go scoop up the rock on the side of the shoulder and put it in front of my house. Now, I'm sure that's probably not the legal or right thing to do, but this isn't gonna work.
You paid for oil? In front of
You
your,
betcha.
this is just in front of your house, or is it
Oh,
all the
there's
miles?
picture. Oh, we got a neighbor who had the stuff put on, that was the tree stout calcium chloride, and they tried to scarf that off the other day, and it went so deep, there's just chunks there's nothing left, a rock, it's just dirt. And this has been going on for, whenever they hired this new guy. It's a disaster. And here's the thing, I've got a grain bin, I haul with my own semi. I try not to haul if the roads are wet, because I don't want to clean the semi, but I'm trying to be a good neighbor, a good steward. But if we were to get 1/2 inch of rain, or a freeze and a thaw, we'll leave her. 2 years ago, my wife had to leave her car in town. She drives a little Impala, and with the rut, she couldn't get down the road, so I'd have to go get her with my pickup. We're cutting them too deep.
So I was out there.
Don't mean to be a troublemaker, just,
Not a troublemaker. We
it's
got the
become an
right
issue.
man here now, so, obviously you'll have to look into it.
Right.
And hopefully fix the problem.
The road is not crowned at all?
It's crowned, but the outside edges are, some places there's rock, some places there isn't. Like between where the windrow is and, or you can go in this, like this far, and there's no rock. Now, it isn't everywhere. But whenever the frost comes out, it's gonna be a mess.
They've tried to put more of a crown in it, but in theory, they're trying to crown it and do the right, but they're taking so much rock off the road. When I was a kid, when Roger Slohanic was our maintainer, he would leave all the rock on the road, and after 2 days, you'd have a path in the road, because the rock would move when you, I shouldn't admit this, but my son drives his dirt bike down the road now because there's no rock, it's not loose. You can just, sorry, but you can just haul. There's no loose rock on the roads anymore. And it's become by trying to crown it, they have cut so deep, and now we got spots. The one picture you can see, it's the shoulder of the road. You just see dirt for, I don't want to say a quarter mile, but I bet it's over 500 feet. It's just dirt.
We appreciate you bringing this.
Thank you for your time.
So,
Do you want these pictures back, or the,
You can have them. I got them on my phone.
you said 1128?
1239.
I didn't write that down.
That's all right. 1239.
The other thing I got is dairy
It was
south of Morristown.
in the first mile, 2 or 3 off of 21, I mean, but
Whenever we get a rain.
thank you for coming in.
Yep, thanks.
You Mark's brother or cousin?
cousin.
Cousin. Sure. I don't know how we can handle it. It's some rock there. There isn't nothing there. It's
Tough,
hard.
the tough part of it is we get a snow, fresh gravel's getting shoved off in the ditch. That's the tough part.
Well,
And if we get frost boils, it's, you know, the base isn't there. So,
elevation there.
so,
It's, I've been getting complaints from the people that have to take that road to go to work.
mhm.
And it's getting, the dairy, they've got, people that are, trying to go to work through that same spot, and the dairy is using that road every day, multiple times, because their silage now is on the east side of the road, and of that road that goes south, and the road that, they used to take their silage on was paved, and it's not good. Now, if it's dry, it's good, but when it gets wet, it's a mess.
Did they ever get back down there and finish cleaning up the ditch? Do you know? I know they had to call it because they started chopping.
Yeah, the ditch has been cleaned.
Pretty sure we went back and got.
They went back and finished it up.
Okay. But there's been so much work going on in that area on a regular basis. it's-
Correct.
They're putting in a digester now.
There's roads everywhere in the county. Elsewhere in the county, you know, I was south of Urbana on gravel, and some of those roads look a little punk as far as gravel. But again, if you put it on this time of year, it's not gonna stay. That's the trouble. We've gotta do something like that, where Mr. Cook came in. So, anything else, sir?
No?
If there's nothing else, then I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.